Greetings and welcome to our series of weekly devotionals where we take a look at one of the lectionary readings and offer some thoughts for reflection. We've reached the midweek offering in our series of reflections as we're taking a look this week at a passage in the book of Numbers. Speaking of Wednesdays, every Wednesday, my wife and I have our grandson Brett over after school. And he's a typical 5-year-old kid. He's a bit of a handful. He has boundless energy, and I'm sort of don't have the energy I used to. I get exhausted running around after him, and he doesn't like rules. And he throws tantrums sometimes when he doesn't get his way. He's a bit of a handful. Of course, we have the benefit of him going home every night after he visits. But it reminds me of the challenge of parenting. Someone has said about parenting, it's the toughest job you'll ever love or something like that. And it's true. It's wonderful to raise kids, but it is very challenging. It's exhausting. But when I look back to raising kids, it did change me in positive ways. It taught me some very valuable things that I hold on to, patience and perseverance, sacrifice, learning to let go of certain battles, surrendering sometimes my own wishes and desires to care for those of my children. And I remember these things, and I think they're sort of given, lifted up or evidenced in our passage in the book of Numbers. Moses writes these things about the people of Israel with whom he has been entrusted. So Moses said to the Lord, "Why have you treated your servant so badly? Why have I not found favor in your sight that you lay the burden of all this people on me? I am not able to carry all this people alone, for they are too heavy for me." Moses is feeling the burden of caring for these people who are kind of like his children, entrusted to him by the Lord. But the word that is translated burden, the Hebrew word in this passage, can also be translated as the word revelation. The people are a burden, but they're also a revelation. And Moses will also grow and learn through this experience to become the kind of prophet that God has called him to be, the kind of leader that the people of Israel need him to be. I know so often in church, people, whenever they leave the church or are disgruntled, it's usually because of people. They don't get along with certain people. There are certain relationships that are hurtful, and they can't reconcile and they leave. Or certain people serving on committees or in certain teams or involved with certain projects, they bow out. They can't get along with certain people. I can't be on that team anymore. So-and-so just drives me nuts. I hear it all the time in the life of the congregation. And I think sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes maybe those difficult people, those burdens, are an opportunity placed by God to grow, to reveal to ourselves something we need to know or need to change. And I think the church is a wonderful place and opportunity for that kind of revelation, because we bring together so many different people that have very little in common, and there are so many opportunities for us to live and work and worship and love alongside people that might drive us nuts. So today perhaps we might think about those kinds of people and reflect that although they might be a burden, perhaps they might also be a revelation. Amen.